right, here we are, Bobby-Lopez here, and we're here with Greg Harbison, who's driving the car, luckily. We don't have a Cuban cab driver driving us down there. And we've got his son behind us, Brenton Harbison. And we've got Trent Sven back there. Is that how you say it? Sven? Sven. And both of these young men were on the state championship team this year at Deep Run, State High School. Won the state championship. And we're riding down to mygolfspy.com as a field trip to learn something today. Because you got to learn something a lot more than just lessons on the range. Getting one ball after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. Let's get past the swing and let's start being successful. So let me ask you first, right off the bat, Brenton, what's your goals as a high school golfer? What grade are you in now?
Ninth grade.
You're in the ninth grader. Perfect. What are your goals?
My goals for this coming up season are to qualify for the state open and the state am and the stroke play again.
You mean the Virginia,
Yes.
the Virginia State Open? All right.
And win another state championship for Deep Run.
Win another state championship. What's your long-term goal?
To play at a Division I college.
Okay. That's a good one. Now, how about you, Trent?
Mine are pretty much the same thing, except for I'd like to try to compete in those big tournaments and win state championships for the golf team throughout high school.
And what's the name of your coach? We need to give him a role.
Coach Aldridge.
Coach Aldridge. Yeah, I heard he was a heck of a baseball player
He was.
in his day, and he's a baseball coach now, and he's coaching the golf team. Well, good for you, Coach. Now, what's your plan of attack to reach these goals? Because you know, at every goal, isn't that right, Greg? You got to have an action plan.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So you became a successful attorney. You had an action plan. You said, "This is how I'm going to do it." Right?
I'm an attorney. I didn't say successful.
Yes, you are. But you had an action plan to get where you wanted to go. Right?
Correct. Yeah. Sure. You have to.
Right. You see, this is the steps I need to take, and this is what I've got to be good at. I got to study this, and I got to study that. I got to take these classes. I got to take those classes.
Right.
I got to find you have your own firm, right?
Right.
Right. So that's successful right there. You know, it's
We're doing okay.
Good. So, what's your action plan, each one of you guys, to get where you want to go? What are you going to do about it?
Mine, I'm just going to work hard in the off season.
You're going to work hard in the off season on what?
On everything, the swing, mental game.
Yeah.
Speak up a little bit so make sure they can hear you on there.
Try and keep good grades and try and get a little bit stronger and try and work on my short game a little bit more and my overall swing for the offseason.
Okay, so then do you have a practice plan? You say you're going to practice real hard this year. What time of day, where, when, how many days a week? What do you have in your mind?
Well, our club closes at like 4, so right when we get out of school, so we can only go up and really chip and putt and then play like a few holes before it gets dark. But coming up, I'd like to play like 3 times a week, and then sometimes on the weekends.
What about you, Trent?
Yeah.
You would remember the same club? You're both
I
at
go to
Dominion Club?
Same club, and it closes right when school ends, so you really can't do much, but you could go out there and play a couple holes after school.
Why do they close so early?
I have no idea.
Because it gets dark at like 5:15, they don't want to pick the range.
I got you.
And, over the winter, just try to work out and get stronger. Just hit it farther.
Well, we might have to take a couple of bays of those covered bays we have at the range and put some heat in there, because we got lights,
So,
so we could use the lights. One of the things I would concentrate on real hard for me is 4 feet and in. What do you think the statistics are for the pros on tour from 4 feet? What percentage do they make?
Probably like 90% of the time.
yeah, 85 to 90.
What about the worst guy?
Probably like 80, 75.
All right, you'll be surprised. The bottom guy in the rung on the ladder is going to be at around 65%. You might have 2 or 3 guys at 100%, but it's going to go all the way from there down to 65%. And you know who was on the bottom one time when I looked?
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson.
Really?
Phil Mickelson. What do you think it is from 5 feet?
Mental.
What's the percentages from 5 feet?
Probably
5 feet.
the average is somewhere around 70, 75%.
Your top guy is going to be around 92, and your bottom guy is going to be at 55. So there's tour pros that almost 50% of the time they're missing it from 5 feet. And I would say to that person, if you're spending even 5 minutes hitting balls on the range, you're stupid. Because I wouldn't even waste 5 minutes on the range if I can't make it from 5 feet, but half the time. Why should I be doing anything else?
That's interesting.
Why should I waste my time hitting a tee shot and hitting the second shot, trying to get on the green, and I get it 5 feet from the hole and I can't make it?
Yeah.
It's like getting all the way to the counter at McDonald's to get a hamburger and I got no money. How am I going to get the hamburger? Right?
Yeah.
What do you think their numbers are from 6 feet?
Lowest guy's probably sub 50.
It tanks big time. At 6 feet, it begins to go down. Yes, big time. Big time. And there's one thing I've noticed for sure. In all the years I've been doing the one-day school at Pendleton Golf Club, I've never had to argue with anybody to use the putting green. I never had to say, I'm sorry, but you need to get off of here, we're running a class.
Huh.
Never.
It's always empty.
The only time you see somebody rolling putts there is because they're waiting for their starting time.
Right.
Or one of their buddies is late and hasn't shown up yet, and they'll roll the ball from hole to hole, whatever holes are on there, which is a total waste of time. Total waste of time. I get to the golf course, the first thing I do is roll 4-foot putts. 3-foot putts, 4-foot putts, 3-foot putts, 4-foot putts, until I know that I really got that rocket. Then I might move it back to 5 feet and roll some more.
Okay.
Until that is working, I don't even waste my time with chipping, long putts, driving range, lob shots, bunker shots. It's a waste of time.
Huh. How much time do you spend on the green typically?
I get to the golf course 2 hours before I'm going to play.
Okay.
At least 2 hours. And I probably spend the first hour and 10 minutes on the green, of which I spend probably 40 minutes of it on putts from 5-6 feet in.
2 miles onto I-64 East.
That's how I get ready to play. And if I had to stay on the putting green for 2 hours rolling 4-foot putts because it's not working,
Yeah.
I'll waste the whole 2 hours on that
Really?
and then tee off without even hitting the ball.
Really?
Yes. If that had to happen,
Yeah.
that's how important 4, 5, 6 feet in is.
Huh.
Because it affects the whole rest of your game. Let's pretend you can only make a 2-foot putt.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. I'm saying guaranteed. 100% of the time it's going in. Guaranteed. Every chip shot you hit has to be 2 feet from the hole. Every bunker shot you hit has to be 2 feet from the hole. Every long putt you roll has to be left 2 feet from the hole, and you're going to get to hit the ball 2 more times.
And you're not making birdies unless you stick
onto
one.
I-64 East.
Right. What's the stat from 15 feet on tour? Best guy.
20%.
11.
Wow.
It's 11%. Some guys are at 5. You go on PGAtour.com and //stats or something like that. It's got all the stats there. So the most important club you ever get is going to be your putter, and I got mine for $5. So it's got nothing to do with how expensive it is.
Please turn right.
It has nothing to do with how expensive it is. It has to do with you getting used to that putter, and that's why you got to get one ball and get used to that ball. And I'm hoping that I know they did some testing here at mygolfspy.com.
They're right after.
Well, ask them about it. They tested the Scotty Cameron putter, $450 putter or something, and they tested against it a Scotty Cameron lookalike, a knockoff. It was $65, and they didn't. They had people, just regular golfers, try them, and the knockoff performed better. So you get a lot of these kids that nag their parents. I gotta have the latest, blah blah blah, 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 blah. Didn't do them any good anyway. But then they can brag to their pals. Look at me, I got a brand new pink driver. Then some guy comes along with an old piece of junk and beats your tail. And you got to convert the knowledge into confidence. If you feel like you know a lot more than the rest of the other kids in high school that you're playing against, you're going to feel more confident. It's like, you know, you studied real hard for a test, and then you go take the test in school, and you know you're going to make an A or a B because you studied hard. Same thing. Oh, look at this. Do you have any questions? Did you have before we go over there today?
What drills can you use from 4 feet and in?
Oh, I got all those drills. And I'll tell you what you have to do. You got to take this chart. I'll email it to you tonight. And you have to write down. You got it. Here's the hard part: is having the patience to do something that's tedious like this. Most kids aren't going to want to do it. Most adults won't do it. And even tour players don't do it like they should lots of times because they get bored. I mean, you know, these guys are on the road all the time, constantly traveling. And it's easy for them to become complacent, especially the senior tour players. They've had enough. They've been doing this for 30 years. So you've got to take this chart I'm going to give you, and it's got north, south, east, and west, little boxes, from 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, and you have to write down what you did. I would use 6 balls. So I get 4 feet, right side of the hole, right to left break. So I'm going east to west. I roll 6 balls. If I made 3, I write a 3 in the box. Then I go downhill, which is north to south. I roll 6 balls. If I made 4, I write a 4 in the box. Then I go to left to right putt, and I roll that, and I find out I only made 2 out of 6. You're going to find out you're better at either left to right or right to left. Why, I don't know. You're going to be better at one than the other. I'm better at left to right. I'm not as good on right to left. For some reason, right to left, I just don't see it the same way. Then you do the uphill putt, you roll 6 balls, and make 6 out of 6, you write a 6 on there. And then you got to see where your weakness is. You say, wow, you know, I'm a little better at left to right than I am right to left. I'm not doing very good on the downhill. What is it that I'm doing wrong there? But you got to see the numbers. You got to see it. Even if they're crummy, so what? You know where you're starting. They're going to get better. And you need to chart it. Because people just sloppily go through the drill and then they're not really doing themselves any good because they don't know what the real results are. If you can't measure it, don't do it. See, so you chart down what it is and you say, well, I got to get better right to left putts, but I'm really not very good. But what am I going to do? Maybe you move the ball a little further back in your stance so you catch the putter earlier in the arc because you just don't seem to play enough break. Yeah, I'll help you with that. We'll find out what it is. It's messing you up there. Downhill putts, I hold the putter lighter. Uphill putts, I squeeze the putter more. Left to right, I move the ball up in my stance a little bit. Right to left, I move it back in my stance a little bit. That's just me. You don't have to do it that way. But you got to get really good from 6 feet and in. I mean, really good. Really good. If you're really, really, really good from 6 feet, now every chip shot only has to be 6 feet from the hole. Every bunker shot only has to be 6 feet from the hole. Every long putt, you just have to leave it 6 feet from the hole. There's a lot of pressure. And in some people, it's not pressure because they're too stupid to know. But there's a lot of pressure on you when you can't make it from any further than 2 feet from the hole, because all the rest of those shots have to get 2 feet from the hole. You get to roll the ball 2 more times. Then everything else is ball speed. How do I get the ball to stop? If my circle is 3.5 feet, how do I get it to stop at 3.5 feet? I can't have it stop at 5 feet. I got to stay 3.5 feet because that's all I can make on a regular basis. Doesn't mean I don't make the 5 footers, but I mean my numbers aren't as good. This is a numbers game. So while the rest of the guys are pounding drives like crazy on the driving range, you say, no, I'm gonna work on my 4 or 5 feet in. Then the second spot that I would work on real hard is hitting the driver where I wanted to hit it. I would try and feel like I want to hit my driver almost as accurate as my 7-iron. I mean, I have to be so accurate with my driver. It is, if you think about it, every bogey starts with a bad drive. Sometimes bogeys start with a good drive because you mess up, a good situation. But every bogey, like that jewelry store on TV, they say every K starts with a kiss or something.
Every kiss starts with K.
That's what it is. Right? You give her this expensive diamond, didn't do any good. That wore off in 3 days. I bought a motorcycle once. And,
Oh, yeah?
my wife comes home and she says, whose motorcycle is that? I said, it's mine. She says, you bought a bike without asking me first? I said, why? Was your name on the contract? She didn't talk to me for 3 days. It was wonderful. I wanted to buy a new bike every 3 days. I got 2 helmets. I said, I got 2 helmets. You can ride on the back. You see in the picture? So don't worry about if somebody else hits the ball 5 yards further than you, 10 yards further than you. Who cares? You go. Here's the green. Right here. See the green? And you go to the left side of the fairway, for instance. Let's say there's a bunker on the right, and it's sort of, just imagine in your mind, and the stick is back right. If you go to the left side of the fairway and you put 10 balls down and you hit them at the green, you probably have 1 birdie, maybe 2 birdies, 5 pars, there's 7. 1 you left out in the bunker on the right, so there's your 1 bogey, there's 8. So you maybe had 3 bogeys, 2 birdies, the rest pars. But if you take your ball and you put it on the right side of the fairway, you've got to go over that bunker to get to that stick, and there's a bunker behind it. You had no birdies, 3 pars, 4 bogeys and 2 double bogeys. Just because you had to hit the ball from a different place. Now you move the ball into the right rough, where you can't hold it at all. Forget it. You had 3 double bogeys. You had 4 or 5 bogeys, and you had 2 pars if you were lucky. All because you hit the ball in the wrong place. Not because you didn't hit it 260 instead of 280. Gene Sowers has told me, he says, when I first met him, he hits it about 280, I guess. More or less, 270, 280. Doesn't hit it real long. He's not one of the longer players out there.
Yeah.
But he said his caddy could hit it 50 yards past him.
Oh, really?
And a young caddy that was with him, was a friend of his. He says, oh, my caddy can hit it, he can blow it past me 50 yards.
Wow.
But he's not playing golf, he's selling insurance.
Yeah.
It's not distance. I mean, distance is a real good asset. That's John Daly, but if he had some of the other stuff to go with it, and if he put it in the right place all the time, you got to put the ball in the right place. So you could be a great iron player, or you're really good at leaving your drives in the right place so that your iron shots aren't as hard as the other ones have. I used to take lessons with a guy that won the PGA Championship, Chick Harper. And Chick used to tell me, Lopez, never hit the ball in a place where you need to hit a great shot. No, that's not what he said. He said, never put yourself in a position to have to hit a great shot. That's what he said. He said, if you're really good at this game, it's boring, monotonous. You just keep hitting it down the middle, you keep hitting it on the green, wait for your putts to fall. Keep hitting it in the middle, keep hitting it on the green, wait for your putts to fall. Don't get cocky and put yourself in a bad place, which you get aggressive, you get impatient. And does any of this make any sense to you guys?
No, sir.
See? You don't want to put yourself in a place where you got to pull a rabbit out of the hat And Tiger Woods does that all the time.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he used to, especially in his younger years. He hit it all over the place.
I don't know that.
Oh yeah, but he hit it. He bombed it. And the thing is, if you're hitting a 9-iron or a wedge to the green, even out of the rough, and he was making everything. But like they just said right now, he's not making his putts like he used to. He's not chipping like he used to.
Yeah.
And he needs those assets because he's not necessarily the most accurate. I'd like to look up and see what his stats are in this tournament right now compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah.
But the problem is it tells you fairways in regulation. It doesn't tell you where in the fairway. When you look at a tee shot and you look at that fairway, you don't look at the whole fairway. You got to have tunnel vision. You look at a spot and you say, I'm going to leave my ball right there. Almost as if there was a flagstick out in the middle of the fairway. Oh boy, what happened here? We're going to take a break here.